Okay, guys, the pro male collective is gaining attention. Of course, it's negative attention. This Loon K Doe, he is a guy who's against us, but he's going to pretend that he's neutral. Okay, because he wants to grow his channel, right? So let's call this guy out.
Boy Loon is back with another video, and I am excited because today we are exploring a new forum on this channel, one that we found on a recent stream by accident. It's called the Pro Male Collective here, and I am so excited to dive into this because even on stream, I saw some very baffling things already.
Okay, so men's fighting for our rights against oppression. That's baffling to him. He just admitted he's against us. Right.
On the forum, it seems to be a relatively new forum. However, upon doing some research, I found this video. The third wave of the Pro Male Collective is here by Pro Male Vendetta. I can't actually watch it on the channel because I think he uses copyrighted music. Don't want to risk it. But
also, he might be able to get other people to hear what he had to say. That's the other thing. I agree with him. I'm not saying he's lying about the copyright music, but he also doesn't want to give voice to us.
Long story short, it seems like this forum is the third iteration of the forum. I don't know what the first two being, but it's the third version, and they're pushing for action to fight against feminism. And it's really interesting because I'm like, what kind of action? That's a little scary.
Interesting is a weasel word for I'm against that, but I don't want to say that I'm against it. Also, it's frightening. So he just admitted, see, men fighting for the rights scares him. So he is our opposition, pretending that he's not. Hey, Loon, so did you find the civil rights movement scary? All those black men fighting for their human rights? I bet you would say, no, you aren't. So for you to find our activism scary means that you are against us.
But today we are going to be exploring all of their, motives and things that they want to talk about, I guess. I'm really fascinated because in the video, the Pro Male Vendetta or whatever his name is says, and I don't think he is the creator, he might be, he says that the goal of the Pro Male Collective isn't to vent or anything, but it's to have collective organized action to push that of men's rights and to decrease male on male negativity. And like I actually like that part because
this guy is controlled opposition. He likes the idea of men like getting along but not fighting our oppressors, right?
I'm here for all human rights, like men.
No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. Women's rights isn't about getting rights for women. It's about taking away the rights from men. That's what it is. So if you're for women's rights, you are against men's rights. Because again, women's rights isn't about gaining rights. It's about taking them away.
Women, everybody's rights is important. And I don't think anyone's rights is more important than the latter.
This guy's a weasel. Dude, women fight for female privilege over men. It's that simple. Women want men to pay child support, which we have to, while they themselves are free to give up their children for adoption. That isn't a right. That is a privilege on their part. So if you're against that, if you're for the way things are, the status quo, you aren't for men's rights.
I also do agree that men should stop putting down each other other men. So I am actually part of that faction. I like that part. However, the whole thing against pushing against feminism is interesting to me because feminism.
The interesting weasel word. In other words, he's against it. When they say interesting, they mean he doesn't like it, but they just want to admit that because he wants to pretend he's on the fence. He's not. He's opposed to us.
By definition is literally
no. Guys by now know that The dictionary definition is just a lie. You go by people's actions. So I'm going to bypass that. I'm not going to give you voice to spread lies. Get past that.
Pretty interesting things. But first off, let's read the rules of this forum. So the OG PMC, I'm assuming that is the creator, I'm not too sure, says the pro male collective is distinct from other male online male groups. Wait, other male online male groups? Okay. We are not part of the manosphere, and we are a breakaway from the female, or sorry, let me zoom in more. Breakaway from the failed, controlled opposition men's rights movement. Okay. We reject feminism 100%. See, that's pretty interesting to me.
Again, interesting. He means he's against it. He doesn't want to admit it. Right.
Because feminism.
No. We don't give a shit about the line definition, dude. So for you to read that means you're a feminist. You are our opposition.
Because all of the other male spaces are failures. I'm not completely against that. I think Looksmax had parts that weren't too bad, but IS is.
You are for Looksmax, dude. That failed concept. What has Looksmax got to do with MRAs? We're fighting for our rights.
Is a pretty wild.
Notice this guy who wants to pretend he's on the fence, tries to put us in with other groups of men that have nothing to do with us or what we're trying to accomplish. He's muddying the waters.
World. I'm hoping that this form is better, but I mean, so far, not a hot start with the whole I don't even want women to be equal type B.
No. Shut your mouth, you liar. Feminism is a hate movement. The suffragettes were passing out white feathers to young men so they'd go die in the war. Keep your lies to yourself.
But let's see. We are all a proactive activism or orientation space. We do not deal in coping in passivism. Okay, that's a little scary. But here are
really, it's scary again. So the civil rights movement should have been scary to you. Again, all those black men fighting for their rights. That would have scared you. Right. He's our opposition, guys. That's why he's scared.
A list of rules for you in our form to post. 1, no misandry. That's a given. 2, no homophobia, racism, transphobia, or ethno-nationalism allowed. I actually, you know what? I commend them on that. I really like that. I appreciate.
Yeah, feminists are the real homophobes, dude, and the real racist. The suffragettes teamed up with the KKK, and they wanted to get the vote before the black men did, right? These are all these factoids that you've never heard or you know and are in denial of.
That compared to the other forms. No calling women S word or W word or fem screen cap baiting in general.
Holy shit, man. You want to monetize your channel and you're afraid of saying sluts and whores. I don't monetize mine, so I can say the words. We don't want to call women sluts and whores, right?
Wow. Okay. So far, not a great bit with this part, but so far, not as bad as I.
So far, we've been 100% perfect. And so this guy, he's saying, well, these guys are fighting for their rights, and I'm against that. That's why he's on the fence or trying to pretend he's on the fence.
By any means, but we'll see. We'll see. No tradcons. I don't know what that means. No promotion.
It means no traditional conservatives. Because tradcons, the traditional conservatives, are the opposite side of the coin of feminism. Both groups want to keep men in our gender roles. And you know what those gender roles are? It's doing all the hard labor and going to war. Those are dangerous gender roles for men. And tradcons and feminists are both for that.
of marriage or the trad con lifestyle. No promotion of marriage? Wow, okay. No Fed baiting? Oh, saying the sort of thing an agent provocateur would say. Huh. I'm gonna blur this next part here, just because I have to scroll down. No PDF smearing or PDF file smearing or spreading conspiracy theories against the elites. No concern trolling about misogyny. Misogyny is not real. Whoa, that is a wild take.
Well, it's a truthful take, so it's not wild. Right.
Misogyny is not real, brother. What?
Yeah, it isn't real. Dude, we're fighting for your rights and you're against that, right? The average man worships women. He worships them to the point that even the idea of men being equal with them bothers him. You have to travel worldwide to find a true blue misogynist, where misandry is everywhere. The hashtag kill all men is very popular.
Misogyny and misandry are both real. They're
Nope. Misandry's everywhere. Misogyny doesn't exist.
the dislike of contempt or
No, I don't give a shit about your lying definitions because we know better. We're going to get past that.
has to be clearly marked as AI data. If not, it will be removed. I like that. This is the part I had to blur mostly. No fap promotion or anti corn on the cob narratives.
Porn. Just say porn, dude. Take the hit. Just say, I'm just not going to get money off this video.
Corn on the cob is good. Anyone who is against corn on the cob is misandrous scum. What? Look.
What do you mean what? What do you mean what? You're either free to watch pornography as a man or you aren't. So if you're against us watching it, you are scum according to that. Right.
As someone who has used and watched corn on the cob.
Okay, there you go. You admit it. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to take porn away from men. So you're either for it or you're against it.
I would say I have knowledge on the subject. If somebody is against corn, I would totally understand depending on their basis for it.
Really? Really? So you watch pornography because you want to. They want to take that away from you. There's nothing else to add, dude. You're trying to have it both ways. You're trying to say that it's all right to demonize men and take away our enjoyment, but at the same time, it's not. You can't have it both ways, dude.
Now, I would highly recommend this guy watch the podcast by Chris Williamson. This one right.
Well, then you are our opposition, dude. Chris Williamson is a misandrist. No pro-male collective member would ever degrade themselves to watch this guy other than do a response video to him. The fact that you recommend him tell us that you are a feminist or a trad con. That's what it is. He's a trad con feminist hybrid. Now, I'm going to get past that. I'm not going to give your recommendation to this terrible person.
That's my personal take. However, it can lead to worser things, and also the industry.
Really? So you watching porn can lead to worser things. Okay, then why do you watch porn then? Why don't you just stop then? If it leads to worse things.
Industry itself promotes very harmful, and sometimes there was a huge lawsuit. You guys can do your own research with the one famous one, the Hub, where there was a lot of really effed up things that was on that. So, it's a really...
That is neither here nor there, whether you watch porn or not. It has nothing to do. They're not talking about here's a particular bad situation. They're saying, we want you, Loon, to not be able to enjoy you watching porn and gratifying yourself. That's what this is about.
really dark space that you can dive into. I don't think any of that is good. And I think the average person just watching one time, like, or a few times, is not bad. However, the addiction and everything else.
No, there is no porn addiction, dude. There's no porn addiction. If that's an addiction, there's a dating addiction, right? Like guys go on dates, they get rejected, they get up, they go on dates again, they get rejected. That can be considered an addiction, right? The only difference is this addiction that you're is actually gaining you satisfaction. And that's why it's called an addiction, because men gain something from it.
It can be a pretty dark space. So I don't agree with this. However, to each their own. If that's this dude's opinion, whatever.
So you don't agree. So you watch pornography and you want to be the freedom to do it, but you don't agree with us.
But to say it's misandrous scum, if you're against it, is wild. All right, 12.
And it's true. It's wild, but it's true. Truth can be wild, right? Truth is stranger than fiction.
No incel or manosphere terminology normalization. Really? Okay. We do not want their brain rot slang in here. So they're really trying to differentiate themselves from incel and manosphere.
Well, we aren't them. Hey, you're an incel, aren't you? Or would you just differentiate yourself from them, right?
Cultures. This is a pro-male safe space. No attacking or.
We're MRAs. We fight for our rights. Incel doesn't. So there's the only reason you would try and connect us if you were our opposition.
Undermining other men over their status, S-life, sexuality, or targeting any perceived insecurities of men. I like that. I'm okay with that. What's crazy is I bet you if someone on this forum finds my video, they're going to talk crap about me.
Well, you are a pretty scummy person. Come on, dude. You are against us. You are our opposition.
Watch. I just know it. 14, no ranting about women. I think I can actually unblur this. No ranting about women too much, as this is a bad for the mental health of males. I agree. Criticizing women.
It's pretty sad when you're so worried about a few bucks that you have to blur it. So someone can turn around and say, hey, dude, how do we know that actually says that? Right?
And calling them out for stuff they do is not ranting. Fed baiting post about how women are not human is ranting. Okay, I'm okay with that. No posturing about.
Well, thank you for being okay.
Hating women. This is bad optics, and most people who do this worship women anyways. Wow. Okay, I actually do.
Yeah, that's right. They actually do. They're obsessed with the opposite sex. That's why they rant.
Agree with this. So far this forum is like 50-50. I think the whole purpose of the forum.
No, there isn't a 50-50. You're either for men's rights, you're either for equality, or you're against it. You're against it. We're 100% in the right.
Is really goofy, in my opinion. Some of the stuff that they're trying to push in terms of their rules to post on the forum, I'm somewhat okay with. But some of it, like what? The patriarchy doesn't exist? Brother, what? That's a bold claim.
No, I'm going to get past the lie again. Dude, the patriarchy does not exist. Men going to war and doing all the hard labor while the women put their feet up is not a patriarchy. That's a fact. In a patriarchy, women would go to war and do all the hard labor. They don't. So I'm getting past the horse shit, of course. Let's get past the bullshit. Yeah.
To practice 100%. I don't know what that is either. A lot of things I don't know. No promotion of masculine.
And who are you to say anything if you don't know what's going on? Let's back that up a bit.
The patriarchy doesn't exist and never did. So no promotion of that concept. This includes tradcons who think the patriarchy is good and feminists who think it is evil. No, okay. No defending or downplaying MGM. This
That's circumcision.
space completely rejects the practice 100%. I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, circumcision. Remember that they cut the foreskin off so it ruins a man's sensation. So he does. It's just like being against you watching porn, dog. They're against us watching porn, and they want to deaden the senses in our penis, so we can't get sexual pleasure. This is something that is outlawed for women, but not for men. You can see that men lack rights that women have.
A lot of things I don't know. No promotion of masculinity. We do not believe in the concept at all. We do not believe it is good or evil. It just doesn't exist. We reject feminists who use the term to demonize men. Wait, what? Masculinity is qualities?
No, dude. Masculinity is not set in stone. If it was an actual definition, your man card can be taken away at any time. Because what it is, it's dependent on women's validation. So if a woman doesn't like you, she simply says you're not masculine. The actual definition in practice fluctuates. So it has to be rejected. So I'm getting past the lie again. Every time you bring up definitions, you are spreading lies.
To demonize men and tradcons who want to be good masculine slaves to women. Okay. Oh, and we have people who like are giving feedback on the rules. Most of it seems to be agreed. However, some people don't agree with some things. Okay, I like that. People want to take away from men everything that brings joy. What? I feel like this claim is also said for women.
No, it isn't, dude. You're telling a bold-faced lie. I know that you're not simply ignorant. No one is trying to take pornography away from women, dude. No one cuts women when they're little girls so they'll damage their sexual pleasure. It's a fact.
Anti-corn on the cob is misandry, just like anti-M and anti-video game.
Yeah, anti-masturbation. You know for a fact that is for guys only. No one comes to women and says don't say don't rub one out, girls. You know that for a fact.
Games. Oh, women play video games too.
Yeah, but men are demonized for playing video games, and women aren't. And you know this.
Anti-M also applies to women then as well.
No. No one has ever made videos talking to women saying don't masturbate. That is a bold-faced lie you're telling now.
Anti-corn on the cob is more geared towards men, but also women watch it as well. I think the corn on the cob thing is beyond just actual like enjoyment. There's a lot of things and layers that go into it.
No. That's all it is. Men enjoying it. They don't want us to have pleasure, so they want to stop us. That's all it is.
That industry that can be very dark. People want men to be obedient slaves to women and not have any form of escapism. Also, people who are anti are usually also against M and video games. That's a wild take. I don't think that's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing, dude. Matter of fact, I'll show you. Look at this headline. Who are we kidding? Subliminal child porn images in Japanese manga and anime. So just guys looking at pretty anime girls is accusing us of pedophilia, right? So it is a thing. It is a thing.
I think religious people might be, but anyways.
No. The person who wrote this article, let's bring this back up again. She's not a religious person. right? This is a feminist. You know, the ones that you claim are about equality. Demonizing men who simply like cute anime girls as being pedophiles.
So that was just the rules, and we're already.
You see, this is why I don't go by definitions from the dictionary. I go by people's actions. I go by your actions too, dude.
15 minutes into the video. This is going to be an interesting one. All right, let's see some of the topics here. All right, we got Jessica here. Wait, is this a girl? Or I thought this was a men only thing. Okay. I'm gonna, we'll just say it's a girl, but all right, we'll see. So this is the PMC Mana. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube without getting pinned, but you know, Festo. Men are an oppressed underclass. Really?
Absolutely, dude. We lack rights that women have. That's a fact.
Because if we're talking like actual classes and monetary,
Yeah, the sexes are a class. There's the female class and there's the male class. And we are the underclass. That's right.
the median weekly earnings based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics of the US were 1,302 for men. And again, this goes layers in because you know different
Yeah, men earn it. We have to work more to get it, dude. That's why they use the word earn.
jobs, different things, but this is just taking it as a whole. Women were 1,083, which is $300, no, 220-ish less.
Yeah, women don't have to work like men. Dude, men give engagement rings to women when they want to marry them. They have to pour 2 months worth of salary. And women don't do that for men. Men have to pay for dates, right? Men have to earn more to get together with women. And you know that.
Per week. So I'm not saying, I'm not getting into the wage debate, but I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. That's why you brought it up. You are bringing it up. You made your point. Now you're trying to scuttle away.
This is interesting. I'm thinking that he's saying this in more, or she in this situation, in a more like social way and not so.
Oh, no. Legal too, dude. Legal too. The fact that men have to earn more shows you that we're an underclass.
Much monetary, but let's see. This is
and remember, men have to pay child support while women can give their children up for adoption. That is a legal fact. That is a legal inequality. So this isn't just social.
Indisputable fact and is not up for debate. Then what is the point of learning and discussion then if you're not gonna be open-minded to anything?
Open-minded? Open-minded to lies? Why? Right? So if the civil rights movement said black men are not inferior to white men and it's not open for debate, you would be saying, what? Why isn't that open for debate? You should be open to have your minds changed.
I'm actually trying to hear this person out though, like genuinely. I'm going to hear their argument and I'm going to give my rebuttal, even though they don't want to debate. I
can debate you, no problem, dude. Bring it on. I can debate you.
The standards of the social sciences, men are disadvantaged compared to women. What? Have you seen sports? You know that men literally can't compete with women because we are like, and I'm gonna say it, we are biologically built different, bruh.
What the hell is this shit? Back that up.
This is an indisputable fact and is not up for debate. Then what is the point of learning and discussion then if you're not gonna be open-minded to anything? I'm actually trying to hear this person out though, like genuinely. I'm gonna see.
No, you're not. You're trying to take us down, dude.
Hear their argument, and I'm gonna give my rebuttal, even though they don't want to debate. By all the standards of the social sciences, men are disadvantaged compared to women. What? Have you seen sports?
What does sports have to do with anything? What's that got to do with anything? Women don't compete with men in our sports. They have their own. So why are you bringing up sports for?
You know that men literally can't compete with women because we are like, and I know I'm gonna say it, we are biologically built different, bruh.
Yeah, what's that got to do with anything, though? What's that got to do with our rights? This is a tangent. You were trying to derail the conversation.
Like, I'm not saying like women's sport ain't lit. Like, tennis is awesome. A couple other sports, amazing. Volleyball. I watch women's volleyball as much as I watch men's volleyball.
I only watch women's volleyball, the beach stuff, because the women are in bikinis. Right. Well, what has this got to do with anything?
When it comes to like Olympics and stuff. And also Olympics is like not Olympics, sorry, gymnastics. Both sides, amazing. But let's be realistic here. Men physically can just do like why do you think weight
What's this got to do with anything? This has nothing to do with the disadvantages that are placed on us. Men don't place physical discipline advantages onto women. Men being forced to pay child support is something that's placed on us. Men being ostracized from their children by the court system, that's placed onto us by other people.
lifting and all that stuff, there's different classes and different gender classes when it comes to competition. And there's open, which is just usually men. Men live shorter. Yeah, statistically, we do live a little bit shorter, which is that is a true statistic.
It must have hurt you to tell the truth.
Harsher, more violent lives that's
That's 100% true.
subjective. And is
No, it isn't subjective, dude. It's objective. Right now in Ukraine, young men are being scooped off the streets to go to their deaths in the current war. Women were allowed to leave the country. This is a fact. There's nothing subjective about it. Guys deal with the more dangerous workloads as well. So workplace deaths are greater for men. This is not subjective.
that also
I would love to debate you, dude. Bring it on.
based on culture and environment, I feel like. No? Anyways, women have far more rights than men. That's incorrect. There's
No. It's 100% correct. I've mentioned only a few.
literally a law that is being debated, that gets to be debated based on the woman's body and choice to have a child. Where
No, dude. That's a power grab. That's a power grab. Hey, dude, if the woman has the man's child and she wants to abort it and the man wants to have his child born, does he have the right to say, I want my child? No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. So obvious that what you're bringing up does not support your claims.
men, we don't have to debate that because we can't even have a child. And then
No. I can debate that. No problem. I'm not a skydiver, but I can definitely debate whether it's safe or not to skydive. So, like I said, you're part of the opposition. You want to keep us suppressed. You're like saying you guys aren't even allowed to give your opinions about something that affects you personally. In this case, your ability to be a father.
and we have also the option to like leave, which is messed up too.
Bullshit. Bullshit. What do you think child support is? Child support isn't leaving. That's enslavement. See how easy it is to knock down misandrists like this guy?
I don't think any guy should just leave their child, but I don't believe this. I know, and look, if
No, no. You believe it. You know it. You're just in denial because you are a feminist.
this person wants to believe this, or if anyone wants to believe this, that's fine.
Believe in reality? Yeah. I want to believe in reality.
You can believe whatever you want to believe, but at the same time, you have to be open to discussion because I genuinely don't believe.
I can discuss with you. I'm tearing you apart now.
Believe that women have more rights than men.
They do.
I think it's getting better, the equality between the two. However,
So women having more rights than men is what you consider equality. Right.
I think men do get by with a lot more.
Like what? Every time he says we do, he doesn't have anything to add. He has no particulars, right?
I think in a societal standard, you might be able to debate that, but however, actual rights, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Women have the right to protect their genitals from being cut. Men don't. Women can, like I say, give their child up for adoption. Men can't do that. Men are forced to pay child support. These are simple facts. Men get drafted, women don't. I mean, dude, you have to be a loon to tell these bold-faced lies.
Law rights. No amount of gaslighting by feminists can deflect from this fact. Okay.
Yeah, none of your gaslighting is going to deflect.
Well, he's not going to hear me out. So, men suffer from false.
I'll hear you out. Come on. I invite you to the Discord, my personal Discord, and we can debate there.
Consciousness have no affinity as a group, and worse yet, harbor an innate hostility towards one another that perpetually cements them within their underclass position. Okay. Men also possess a nigh irrational love and adoration for women.
You are a perfect example of this.
All some men like men and have been proven to have an out group bias, i.e., men like women more than they like the fellow man. It depends, because I've met some.
No, there isn't a depends to this. This is already a scientific study where they looked at the in-group and out-group biases between the sexes. They discovered men have an out-group bias towards women, and women have an in-group bias towards their own sex. It's already been found out, dude.
Dudes, it depends on how much the man likes the woman. And then also, I have seen some times where the woman in the relationship likes the man much more, loves and adores the man much more.
Never doesn't happen, dude. Women divorce their men that they supposedly love in a heartbeat, and it's usually a very nasty experience for the man.
I feel like this can't be a apples to apples comparison because everybody's relationship, everybody's life, and everybody's motivation
We just look at the world on a macro level, right? That's what we do.
towards women, their friends, and so forth is vastly different. Anyways, he says, or whoever says, this leads them to incessant pandering to women at the expense of their and other men's well-beings.
Yeah.
These factors contribute to men being a diagnosed, segmented,
Disorganized, dude.
marginalized group that are unable to rectify their oppressive social conditions, assuming they bother to even acknowledge the existence of them in the first place. Meanwhile,
You're a perfect example of this, dude. You're proof positive of this.
women are a highly organized upper class group, okay, in which feminism aim to further push the rule they have over men through the orchestration of political campaigns and false narratives that aim to disparage, gaslight, and demonize the male party.
That's right, dude. Like I just showed you here, right? where guys who look at cute anime girls are pedophiles according to them, right? So I can bring up the evidence, no problem.
I feel like they're talking about the extreme feminists
No,
because
no, no, there is no extreme feminism, dude. That's like saying extreme KKK. Hey, the civil rights movement. I feel like they're talking about the extreme KKK, unlike the moderate KKK, right? This is what you sound like.
the average feminist is like the average person.
No, 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 no. Well, actually, maybe you're right. The average person is a feminist. You're a perfect example of that. Maybe you're right about that then. Remember, there's an outgroup bias with men. Men dislike each other for the most part. So you might be right about that.
Genuinely, I feel like the average person is like, okay, equal rights, cool. I'm okay with that.
If you're for equal rights, then how come you're against ours then? Hey, you admitted you watch porn. Do you want that taken away?
Um, the end goal, full systemic subjugation of the male population through legalized violence? What?
Yeah.
Violence of government parties worldwide. What? Women
Yeah, exactly. The UN is feminist controlled, and they spout hateful threat narratives about men all the time.
have full spectrum social authority over the male underclass, and no other group has had as much political, social, and cultural domination over another group of people in the course of human history. Are you actually serious?
Absolutely. We are serious about the truth of our situation. Absolutely. And you were seriously against us.
Are you actually genuinely serious?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even need to do research on this. This is
I don't need to do research on this. So, hey, dude, I thought you were up for a debate and a discussion. But now you're not even going to bother doing research. Hey, everyone, this guy who was so much about discussion and debate, he's not going to discuss or debate.
going to be a wild claim that I believe is going to be true, okay? If you statistically pull up every single ruler, dictator, any person of power in the
Like Catherine the Great, who was a very strong warmonger, right? Just a minute, guys. I'll see if I can't find an example. Let me pause this. Oh, here's queens who started wars like Catherine the Great, Queen Elizabeth I, right? Queen Tomaris, you know. Queens start wars, dude. That's a fact. Also, they start wars knowing that they themselves will never have to be involved in it or any of the women involved, right?
world. You don't even have to pick a country, with the exception of like maybe a few countries. President, current day.
I'm going to bypass this because this is a feminist lie. You are a feminist now, dude. I see exactly what you are. You're trying to exercise controlled opposition, right?
Most people in men's rights spaces still believe in feminist concepts and consider the complete rejection of feminist ideas to be radical and extremist. Many men's rights activists are appeasers, cowards, and sellouts if it's not just
Why are you blurring this, dude? What's here that needs to be blurred?
outright traitors of the male S. Consider they undermine their own cause
You can't even say the word sex.
constantly. That's true. Current MRA spaces are full of constant concern trolling over MRA radicalism. The cockblocky behavior.
That's just what you did, right? Right? You like men's rights supposedly, but anything that would actually get something done is considered radical by you.
crushes the spirits of pro-male-minded men as they are banned, blocked, shunned, ignored, invalidated, and gaslighted from the spaces. That is a true thing that IS and stuff like that do. These MRA spaces are also invaded by racist reactionaries who will validate feminist rhetoric if directed towards an alien outgroup of men other than the
Yeah, exactly. That would be you, dude. That'd be you, Asian guy. You would show up at an MRA space, and all of a sudden these guys would allow all these white nationalists in that would bash you, right?
themselves, i.e., immigrants entering the country and R-wording and trafficking. Wow. Okay. Now I can unblur. The old MRM is stale and worthless. Men need to create a blah, 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 blah. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. The pro-male subculture needs to promote a pro-male ideology based on a foundation of evidence, logic, and on a consistent set of ethics. See, it's like they have much more knowledge of construction.
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, I'd like you to introduce you to Shield for Men, right? This is probably the best MRA channel out there. And he's got all kinds of stats and also articles and science papers discussing these sort of issues, right? So, but at the same time, there's no point in me saying that because you're open for discussion, but you're not even going to look at things, right? Right. You're not into researching these things.
An organization than IS, where IS is just like a cesspool of just saying whatever crazy thing and rage bait thing you can say.
Yeah, because they're incels and we're MRAs. So again, we know what you're trying to do when you're trying to connect us to them.
Say about women and other guys. However, I feel like their motive is just wildly fascinating because it's just
You're against us. Remember, fascinating means he's against us, but he doesn't want to say it. He wants to pretend he's on the fence. Our motives is protect our rights as human beings. That's our motive. It's not even motives. It's a single motive.
what? But yeah, let's continue. That's just my opinion though. I'm not hating on any other dudes out there.
Yes, you are, dude. You're a feminist. You're against us. Come and debate me.
Believe whatever you want to believe. The pro-male subculture must encourage a healthy mindset in men, one based
Hey, all you black guys in the civil rights movement, you might think the KKK were against you, but you can believe whatever you want to believe, right?
on self-respect, compassion, and care for their fellow man. I agree. Some stuff on that. Then they list more rules. There's a lot of rules to this. Men need to have the correct mind space or mindset. Okay. Men need to be proactive. They must be or strive to propagate pro-male ideas as much as possible outside of their own space. Okay. Men not only need to be proactive, but they must coordinate in their approach using teamwork to signal boost each other. Pro-male men must set up their own online pop culture spaces and gatekeep them. What? You're promoting gatekeeping?
Yeah, we are, dude. Because people like you would enter them and you would wreck those spaces. We got to keep people like you out. You just talked about it earlier with the MRM. They let white nationalists in. Then it didn't become about men's rights. It became about demonizing guys like you.
Okay, we must avoid becoming a self-marginalized subculture. We are a vanguard ideology and will remain so until we wake up enough men. Strong men or strong man posturing and coping behaviors must be discouraged. Okay, we must reject feminism completely and utterly. We must reject the label completely. Okay, all right, interesting. All right, let's read some of the
Again, he's against us. That's what he says. Interesting.
other forum things on here. And this is a relatively active forum. It's not as active as IS, but I mean, if you go to the earliest post here, it was only a month ago. So this is a pretty new one. And wow, already off rip. Look at this post. why feminism is the gender, the group with
KKK.
the
You can
hoods
say.
on. So
You
Mochi
can't
here
even say.
says,
You can't even say KKK. Right.
cute name. Uh, Feminism was never about equality. It has always been about female supremacy.
Yeah.
Feminists protect and support female A-worders. See, that's extreme feminism, though. I feel
No,
like
no, no. That's what it is, dude. That's what it has always been. The suffragettes were handing out white feathers to young men so they'd go and die into wars. That's the basics. That's the starting point. Here, I'm going to bring up Shield's channel again. Here, I'll be right there. Let me just pause. Well, looky here, Loon, at this video from Shield for Men. Feminist ties to eugenics and racist New Age cults. Funny about that. Let's see if I can find another one. Here's another one. Feminist fascism exposed. Right? Hey, but you're not going to look at this. You're all about discussion and debate, but you're not going to actually look at what we have to say, right? I just want to remind you, see that photo of feminism is out of control? Those were feminist women wearing hoodies, the white kind. See that? Again, dude, we can prove what we claim.
we're getting, and you know what, I will say to the credit of the pro male collective guys and the guys that are in this subgroups, I think with feminism we did start attributing them to radical feminism and
No, no, you're not. They are what they are.
feminists, because that's what you see on headlines, that's what you see on the news. It's usually the craziest of.
Really, so first of all, they're not crazy. They're hateful. You don't call the KKK crazy. You call them hateful. Right. First of all. Second of all, if they're the radicals, how come they get articles posted? How come they are on television? How come they're in the UN? How come the moderates aren't in control? Right, Loon? Wouldn't the moderates be the spokeswomen for the group?
The groups, I mean, that's left, right, whatever, right? Because media likes to promote the most rage bait things, and that's
So the media is going to support the hate groups. So how come they don't support the white nationalists then? How come they don't support the KKK?
sucks, because I feel like the actual definition of feminism and the actual feminists out there.
No, 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 not the actual. What you see is what you get. I'm getting past this. I can't stand this guy's line.
Towards extreme feminists. It's the same thing as saying incel. All incels are like incels. There is a misconception that feminism is the past or first wave feminism was good. It is not. Saying first wave feminism is good is just like saying first stage of cancer is good. What? Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. That's right.
Comparing feminism to cancer is wild.
In other words, he doesn't like it, but he just want to say it. Right. It's true, though.
Feminism were terrorists and used to commit what? Okay, I'm not reading that.
Really, you're not reading that. Bombings and arsons. Yeah, they did do that, dude. But hey, you're not going to research, right? And you want a discussion, right?
Women have historically participated in shaming men into war.
Yeah.
What? Men have.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. That's why we reject masculinity. You're not a real man unless you go to war. That's a fact. Dude, white feather campaign from the suffragettes. It was a shaming campaign.
I'm not like disproving that there are some women historically that probably have, but I'm pretty sure men have pushed men into war almost all.
This has nothing to do. The guy said something that was true. Women push men into war. That's a fact.
All the time, like majority of the time, hard majority of the time.
No, no, dude. Women support war. Women support war. That's why there were queens that supported war, that started wars.
Like propaganda, things like all these world leaders, they're all dudes.
No, they aren't all dudes. They aren't all dudes. I just showed you they weren't all dudes. You're just telling a bold-faced lie. Like, are you going to show any shame or embarrassment after my video responding to you comes out? I want to know.
By claiming that they were cowards and not real men if they don't participate in war.
Yeah.
That was also a form of propaganda pushed by, and I'm pretty sure like the German troops in World War II were pushed by the ideology by a guy. The white feather movement.
No. The women supported that, dude. Guess what? Women supported Hitler. Hitler gained his best support from wealthy women. That's a fact. That's a historical fact. You have nothing in your corner. All the facts are in our favor. You've got nothing, Loon.
Is one of the most many examples. Women are about as much responsible as politicians for starting wars. That is a wild claim.
Again, in other words, it's true. And he hates that it's true, but he doesn't know how to fight against it because you don't do any research, right?
I'm going to say, have there been wars started by women and women adjacent like pushes and stuff? Yes, 100%. There's probably been.
Okay, then stop going on about men starting wars and all this. That guy said something that's true. You accept it.
Crazy wars in a pursuit of like a woman.
Get past that because he's going to be denying truth.
And I would think that she would classify herself as someone who wants women to be equal, right? The Scum Manifesto is a radical feminist manifesto by blah, 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 who suggests that formation of Scum, an organization dedicated.
Yeah, that it stands for cutting up men, right? So let's see how you're going to defend that, right? This is second wave feminism and feminist. They embrace that, right?
To eliminating the male. What? Is that actually a thing? That's pretty crazy then. That shouldn't be.
It's evil. Again, it's not crazy. It's evil. Loon, you ever wonder why? You say that misogyny is real. Yeah, here you are. Anything that's evil that women do, you don't call evil. You say it's crazy, right?
Thing. Feminists lie and claim that it is satirical, even though in 1968, well, this is the exact same thing that Incel IS do, right? When speaking to Marminson. So
What do you mean Incel S? Again, we're men's rights activists. They're incels. We're not connected in any way. So incels point out a truth, and you are going to try to say it's not true, but rather than look to see if it was true, you're just going to smear us by saying, hey, we're a bunch of incels. Right?
Lenses herself characterized the Scum Manifesto as dead serious. Wow, that's scary. Okay, that's scary. And
it's true. That's the important thing. It's true.
Agree that this is pretty crazy stuff, if that's true. Feminists all want men.
So then you agree that the person was telling the truth then. Notice he always leaves us out, guys.
And to be, no, see, that's not true either, because I'm pretty sure my girlfriend likes me. Pretty sure most.
Your girlfriend, she could dump you in a heartbeat, dude. She can make you pay child support. There's all kinds of men with exes that live miserable lives. Just because you have a girlfriend, that doesn't mean anything. How many women post kill all men and get support from ordinary women like your girlfriend?
So my following, that is majority women. Most of them probably like me, I would think. At least in a like. online stand. Feminism was never about gender equality.
Oh, really? Hey, go to these girlfriends that like you so much and tell them the wage gap is bunk. That's just men earning more money, working more hours. See how much they like you. Women's like turns off very quickly when you stand up for yourself as a man, when you want actual equality.
Feminism is about protecting female criminals. What? What?
Yep,
Wait, hold on. How is it about protecting female criminals? What?
because it is, dude. It is. Women in UK, the feminists, are pushing to get rid of jails for women. So if a woman commits a crime, she's not going to jail. That's a fact you could easily look up and find out about. You're not going to because it goes against your narrative.
In the world? How did you even get what? Okay, anyways, we're moving on from that one. Men are vulnerable. Okay, I'm fascinated on this one. Despite having strict rules against hate, discrimination, and dehumanization, mainstream social media platforms do not enforce these rules when it comes to men, and because, according to their logic, men are not a vulnerable group. This is plainly wrong. Men are vulnerable, and data confirms this. First off, let's define the criteria of vulnerability. Okay, so before we dive into the concept of social media platforms do not enforce these rules. I do sympathize a little bit with this. I do agree.
What does that got to do with anything? It's either true or it isn't true. Notice he avoids that altogether. Right? I don't care about your sympathy, Loon. I want you to be honest.
That we as a society have, and it could be a multitude of reasons.
Dude, they don't enforce the rules on women that they do on men on these platforms. That's a fact. I have to misspell the word feminist and woman in my replies to people. That's a fact on this platform. Otherwise, YouTube's erase it.
I'm not going to blame just women. I also think men contributed to this as well. We do brush off a lot of things when it comes to men's mental state and certain things like that versus the women. And I have a good example of this. So even The Boys, a great TV show. I highly
Screw you and the boys. Great TV show. Let's get past this.
anyone getting us. That's the thing. We should just say anyone getting any form of
No. This is fence sitting bullshit right here, guys. Past this. We are not the same. Women have privileges and rights men lack. Period.
Women literally didn't even get studies until like a couple decades ago. Workplace challenges and exploitation, violence and discrimination, intersectionalism. Wow, this is a very long criteria of vulnerability, economic discrimination, health inequality. Health inequality. Okay, well, I'm going to read that one today because women literally didn't even get studies until like a couple.
Dude, women were looked after and men aren't. Yeah, there is health inequality. Who are you to say otherwise? Well, you're wrong. That's the important part. Women didn't get studies.
Couple decades ago. Workplace challenges and exploitation, violence and discrimination, intersectionality of race and gender. Oh, fuck, man, I really am interested in this post now. I'm going to skim through a little bit of it. So economic discrimination.
Why do I care if you're interested since you're in denial of the truth?
Feminists like to cite the gender pay gap, which has been debunked. What? Has it? I don't know. There are several cities in which
many times
in the US where young women out earn young men. Yeah, but several cities doesn't mean the majority. Okay, they're trying to cite some studies. Look, I'm just
they're trying to, or they are citing. They are citing them, and you're not going to look at them. Because again, you're not going to look into the details because it'll destroy your narrative. So you are not on the fence, Loon. You are a feminist.
Just gonna be brutally honest with you guys.
You have not shown any honesty yet.
I've seen it. I mean, in an economic standpoint, like my sister, even being a girl boss, like she got a lot of discrimination. It was hard for her to make it to where she was.
She had to compete with men. That's not discrimination. Men outcompete with women. That's all that's going on here. That's not discrimination.
Harder for her to make it where it was because she's a girl.
So that's a total lie, dude.
I know these guys aren't gonna believe that, but you understand.
Well, we know it's untrue. It has nothing to do with belief. We know it's untrue.
Because most of the head elites, most of the money winner, breadwinners, and most of the people who are in power, and also most of the people in charge of these huge.
All you're saying is men have to work to get into positions, and women don't. So I'm getting past this. This man can't speak without lying. Can't speak without lying.
I just don't think the majority of the world is like this at all with economic discrimination. I mean, in some
yes, 100% it is. The UN is feminist control. The whole world's like this. They have no staring laws in the UK for men alone on the transit. Men, when you're betters, females enter, you keep your eyes to yourself. That's separate drinking fountains. And that's in the UK. Don't even get me started on India.
some countries, women can't even work.
Bullshit. Women don't want to work. How is that? How is that a lack of rights? Like, it's not like these women become homeless. If you don't get a job, you become homeless. Women are taken care of, and they set it up that way. They set it up that way.
But yeah, anyways, I'm not going to dive too deep into that one. Health inequality.
Of course you're not, because you'll be disproven. Your bullshit's going to be disproven. So of course you're not going to dive at all.
I'm really interested in this. The research was conducted against a general assumption that medical research was unfairly focused on men.
Oh, it's going to destroy the bullshit you said earlier about health.
Complaints were loud enough to inspire research into the topic, where it was quickly found that far more interest and money were put into women's health research than men.
There you go. Your bullshit claim is being destroyed.
Including even in areas where men are known to be affected more. Really? Really?
But you're not going to look into it, right? Right.
I mean, just searching this alone, women often face higher out-of-pocket health costs than men.
Are you looking at feminist AI? Right. So why don't you look at what these guys link? Right?
That's one thing that we could talk about. So women are statistically paying more for healthcare than men.
No, they aren't. This is bullshit. That's a total lie.
Okay, here we go. So this is by National Liberty of Medicine as well. Gender disparity in the funding of diseases by the National Institution of Health. So right here, results. We find that in near 3/4 of the cases where a disease affects primarily one gender, the funding pattern favors males. And that
I don't believe that one bloody percent. Funding for breast cancer in dollars allocated $542 million. National Cancer Institute funding for prostate cancer, 258 million. 258 million compared to 542. That's about double. And this is why I don't believe in your horseshit, dude. Because whenever you ask a simple question like, you know, who suffers more, men or women, the, feminist AI always comes up saying some lie that women are. But when you break it down and ask specific questions, then the lie gets exposed, right? So let's continue.
Put into women's or men's health, and that was one of the articles. And it looks like a majority of articles are pulling for women getting the shorter end of the stick. So
Right.
I'm sure
The articles are, but not the numbers. Not the numbers, dude. Right?
you can find some articles like these, but brother, I mean, come on. I think the only thing
Come on, dude. Your lie has been exposed. Well, let's get past this because he's just going to be spouting more lies.
health. Like we shouldn't just be like, oh, just because of this one topic you guys don't care about, we're not going to care about any of yours. Like, why can't we just care about both, brother?
Because women's desires is supremacy over us. Why would a men's rights activist group care about that? Why would the civil rights movement care about the desires of the KKK since they oppose the civil rights movement?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Workplace challenges and exploitation. What? Dude, you can't be serious. Okay, let's read this. The most dangerous health hazardous jobs are all male dominated.
That's 100% true. And it's a fact that you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then if you're a guy who don't want to do a hazardous job, then
Yeah.
don't do it.
Okay. That does not say, that does not turn around and say this is untrue, does it? Who's going to do those hazardous jobs, man? Who's going to end up doing them? Not the women.
It's also said that more men seek these kind of jobs as
Yeah, because men, again, have to out earn women. And also we become homeless if we're unemployed. Because society doesn't want to look after men. 95% of of homeless people are men. They're male. Fact. Oh, sorry, you might find a different one. You might only find 85, right? But this is the why men go for these hazardous jobs. One, someone's got to do them, and two, women will never be forced to.
well. But then again, we can't talk about masculinity and we can't talk about masculine traits because it's not real. Okay.
Well, it isn't real, dude, because the definition shifts according to what people want out of a man. That's why it's not real. And this has nothing to do with masculine traits, other than people don't like men. That's the only trait that matters. People like women and they dislike men. That's what this comes from. So men have to do the dirty jobs.
Based off of these guys, the ideology,
Based off of facts, dude.
men make up the majority of workplace fatalities and workplace injuries. Again, this is just lacking.
Yeah, this is true. That's right. All right.
These statements are lacking so many factors, biases,
It either is true or it isn't.
and different things that factor into this, like the fact that male dominated jobs are more hazardous that we choose to pick to go into as well. Men are
Yeah, men choose it. Right. But then again, who's going to do them? Who's going to work on the oil rigs? Right? Women aren't going to do it. You want oil for your house? I want oil for mine. We want heating. So someone's got to do it. Right?
10 more likely to be unalive, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we continue.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. In other words, It's a truth that supports our claims. You can't dispatch that truth, so you got to move on.
And that can connect. You can use that as an argument to say that men's jobs usually do pay more because more dangerous jobs do pay more. So,
Well, there you go. So men earn their dollars. We earn it. So anyone who brings up the wage gap to say that women are discriminated against is a liar, aren't they?
like, I feel like they're using these arguments in the wrong ways. I feel like if you were
You mean to make our points?
to make an argument against feminism, there's better ways to do it than this, guys. And I'm not
Really? So bringing up facts about what men suffer that proves that we're discriminated against, that's the wrong way.
saying that you should, because again, I think that equality as a whole is a great thing. I'm just
No, you don't, because you're against ours.
saying the ways that they're making these arguments are really silly. Violence and discrimination.
You mean bringing up the facts of men's lives?
Men are more likely to be okay. Hold up. Men face longer prison sentences for the exact same crime. While it is true that men are more likely to commit the crimes, dude, what? It doesn't explain the gender disparity. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't. The amount of the times that crimes are done does not explain why. Like a woman, let's say only 1 out of 10 women commit a crime. That doesn't explain why they get less time. If you commit murder and a woman commits murder, it doesn't matter if 10 other guys committed murder. You and she should be given the same prison sentence.
You just said, oh, men face longer
And I disagree, by the way. We're finding out that women commit crimes just as much as men.
prison sentence times. But I mean, let's not account that we also commit more crimes. What?
No, they don't. We're finding out the hard way. We're finding out again and again how many women sleep with underage boys. We're finding out again and again how much women murder children and abuse the elderly. Whoever wrote that shouldn't have written that.
Which means even an African American woman should get a shorter sentence than a white man. What? Men are more likely to be stopped by the police, and even when the women are stopped, they are less likely to get arrested. I'm sure that women do get some benefits when it gets to the police, for sure. Pretty privilege is
Really? It's not pretty privilege, it's female privilege, dude. I have a video where a trans man, once he transitioned into a man, he found the police attitude completely different. So see what this guy do is what this is male feminist trying to do, right? He's trying to say it's not female privilege, it's pretty privilege, right? If that's the case, dude, then how come pretty men don't get the boost?
probably a thing. And it's also due to the fact that most of the police are men that are stopping. So it's again, this.
Well, all you're saying is men have to take those jobs. Women don't want them. Right. Right. And also proves that men have bias towards women. So misogyny doesn't exist, right?
This is us on us problem. I don't know why we're bringing the women into this. Men are discriminated against
Because the women are getting fewer, they're getting privileges with this behavior. They're involved, dude.
even when they are the victims, as criminals are harsher punished for unaliving women than for unaliving a man.
You mean killing? I can say the word killing just because you can't.
Huh? Is that true? I'm not too sure about that.
Yes, it is. Why should I care if you're unsurety? We've got the facts. If you are unsure, go find out.
But if that's true, that's interesting. And overall,
If it's true, it's just interesting, right? It's a weasel word, right? He's saying nothing because he wants to pretend he's for equality. But he doesn't want to say this inequality is bad when it affects men.
And are 90% of those in prison, 98% of death row inmates. Yeah, because dude, we're the ones doing all the crazy shit, bro. Are you
No, 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 we're not, dude. No, we are not. Every time I turn around, some woman is murdering somebody.
guys serious right now? Now, I do agree that there are some disparity in some categories, but the overall no. They're more likely.
No,
Okay,
no, in every field, in every aspect of society, women are privileged over men. Everyone.
I'm gonna skip forward because these are just silly claims.
Yeah, exactly, guys. This guy, hey, he wants a discussion, everyone. He wants a discussion and debate, but he doesn't want to discuss and debate. He's just going to skip over everything. That's why feel all right skipping over you, dude.
Some of this might have validity, but a majority of
It all has validity, dude. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on there.
it doesn't. And I'm not. I just don't have time to dive into this. If you
Well,
guys,
you don't want to, because it breaks your narrative. Now I'm going to skip ahead for a little bit because this guy, he's shown for what he is. He's a male feminist pretending that he's for equal rights. That's what they do.